while I'm trying to promote everything else.
Honestly, Janelle, I wonder, could some of the things that he's saying,
No, I know.
that
I'm
he
like,
never loved us and
He just slaps you down for it. I'll tell you what, there's a divine aspect about my relationship with Robyn, and we have been bitch slapped for it.
But it
and I'm
feels-
sick of it.
I know, but you
I'm
feel-
like walking around with, like,
There are moments that change everything, and sometimes it's not a loud argument or a dramatic exit. Sometimes it's a single look. Picture this. The family is gathered at Garrison's funeral, grief hanging in the air, everyone raw and exposed. And then, in the middle of all that heartbreak, Robyn's face shifts. There's a smirk, quick but unmistakable. It's the kind of moment that makes you question everything you thought you knew about this family. Was it nerves? Was it something darker? For the people who saw it, it felt like a slap. In that instant, years of tension, jealousy, and unspoken resentment seemed to surface. The fracture in the Brown family, the one that's been growing for years, suddenly felt impossible to ignore. This isn't just about one funeral or one expression. It's about betrayal that's been simmering under the surface for years. It's about secrets, favoritism, and the slow unraveling of trust. Christine, who spent years trying to hold her family together, finally reached her breaking point. Kody, the patriarch who always claimed to have everything under control, looked more lost than ever. Robyn, the so-called peacemaker, suddenly seemed like the catalyst for so much pain. Janelle and Mary, each carrying their own scars, watched as the family they built together started to crumble. And the kids, Garrison, McKelty, Aspen, Truly, and so many others, were left to pick up the pieces. Hi friends, I'm Sarah, and this is TLC Sister Wives Daily. If you've ever wondered what really goes on behind the scenes of reality TV's most complicated family, you're in the right place. Make sure you hit subscribe, drop a comment, and let me know if you caught that moment too. Because today, we're pulling back the curtain on the secrets, the heartbreak, and the real story behind the Browns' collapse. Christine's story isn't just about a woman leaving her husband. It's about years of feeling invisible in her own home, of giving everything to a marriage that never gave back. For so long, Christine tried to make it work. She smiled through the pain, raised her kids, and played the role of the supportive wife, even as Kody's attention drifted further away. Every family dinner, every group conversation, she was there, hoping for a little recognition, a little warmth. But what she got was distance. Kody's eyes were always somewhere else, his priorities tangled up with Robyn, his presence more like a shadow than a partner. The neglect wasn't just emotional. It was practical, too. Christine watched as Kody spread his time and his things across 4 houses, never really settling anywhere, never really showing up for her or their children. She asked for help, for fairness, for the kind of partnership she saw other people have. Instead, she got excuses and empty promises. The message was clear. She was expected to wait, to be patient, to accept less. But everyone has a breaking point. For Christine, it came quietly, almost matter of fact. She started packing up Kody's things, his clothes, his books, his bathroom stuff. She labeled every box, not out of spite, but out of clarity. This was her line in the sand. Moving his belongings to the garage wasn't just about clearing space in the house. It was about reclaiming her own life, her own peace. For the first time in years, she was choosing herself. The impact was immediate. Kody walked in and saw his things boxed up, pushed out of the bedroom, out of the shared space, out of the life they'd built. He looked stunned, almost offended, as if it had never occurred to him that Christine might actually follow through. The man who always thought he was in control suddenly realized he wasn't. The rest of the family felt the shift too. Janelle saw it as a wake-up call. Mary, who'd been through her own heartbreak, recognized the pain and the courage it took. Even Robyn, who'd always been at the center of Kody's world, couldn't ignore the change in the air. Christine's decision wasn't loud or dramatic. It was quiet, steady, and final. In that moment, she stopped waiting for Kody to choose her. She chose herself, and nothing in the Brown family would ever be the same. Kody's favoritism didn't start overnight. But once Robyn entered the picture, it became impossible to ignore. The man who once claimed to be the glue holding his family together started showing up for only one corner of it. Robyn's needs always seemed to come first. If she wanted time, Kody found it. If her kids needed something, he was there. But when it came to Christine, Janelle, or Mary, there was always a reason he couldn't make it. Always a new excuse. The pattern played out in front of the cameras, season after season, and the wives felt it. So did the kids. One of the most painful examples was when Isabel needed surgery for her scoliosis. Christine begged Kody to be there for their daughter, to support her through something terrifying and life-changing. But Kody refused, citing travel concerns and COVID protocols. He stayed behind, choosing to remain with Robyn and her children instead. The cameras caught Isabel's heartbreak, her quiet disappointment as she realized her dad wasn't coming. Christine tried to hold it together for her daughter, but the pain was written all over her face. It wasn't just about the surgery. It was about years of being put second, third, or even last. Truly, the youngest faced her own crisis when she became dangerously ill. Christine was the one who noticed, who took her to the hospital, who stayed by her side. Kody was absent, distracted by other obligations, other houses, other priorities. When he finally acknowledged the seriousness of Truly's illness, it was almost as if he was trying to rewrite history, blaming Christine for holding a grudge instead of owning up to his absence. The kids saw it. They felt it. The message was clear. Some children mattered more than others. Even the way Kody managed his belongings told a story. He scattered his things across 4 homes, never fully committing to any of them. It was a physical reminder of his emotional distance. The wives were left to juggle his stuff, his schedule, his moods, while Robyn's house became the one place he always seemed to settle. The other wives and their children were left to make do with what was left. For Christine, for Janelle, for Mary, and especially for the kids like Isabel and Truly, the favoritism wasn't just unfair, it was devastating. It chipped away at their confidence, their sense of belonging, and their trust in the man who was supposed to be their father and partner. The damage wasn't just emotional. It was visible, lasting, and impossible to ignore. Robyn's arrival in the Brown family was supposed to bring peace, but what actually happened was something else entirely. From the start, she played the role of the outsider, the one who just wanted everyone to get along. But as the seasons rolled on, it became clear that Robyn wasn't just another wife. She was the center of Kody's world. Her tears, her stories, her constant need for understanding seemed to pull all the attention her way. Whenever conflict bubbled up, Robyn would slip into the role of the misunderstood victim, her voice trembling, her eyes wide with confusion. It was a pattern that repeated itself over and over. Robyn hurt, Robyn confused, Robyn needing comfort. And Kody always rushed to her side. But there was another side to Robyn, one that didn't always make it onto the highlight reels. The smirk at Garrison's funeral was a flash of something colder, something calculated. In a room full of grief, surrounded by people who had lost a son, a brother, a friend, Robyn's expression didn't match the moment. It was quick, but it was there. For those who saw it, it felt like a mask slipping. Suddenly, the woman who always claimed to be on the outside of the drama looked like she was in control of it. That moment at the funeral mattered because it exposed a truth the family had been dancing around for years. Robyn's presence changed everything. She didn't just join the family, she became the axis it spun around. Kody's time, his affection, his loyalty all shifted in her direction. The other wives felt it, and so did their children. The old sense of unity, the idea that everyone was equal, started to crumble. Robyn's kids became Kody's priority, while the rest of the family watched from the sidelines. The funeral was supposed to be a time for healing, for coming together in the face of tragedy. Instead, it became a symbol of just how far apart everyone had grown. The smirk wasn't just a facial expression, it was a signal. It told the family and anyone paying attention that the old rules no longer applied. Robyn wasn't just a participant in the family's story. She was shaping it, steering it, and sometimes manipulating it to her advantage. For Christine, Janelle, Mary, and their children, that realization was devastating. It confirmed what they'd suspected for years. Robyn's influence wasn't just emotional, it was strategic. And in that moment, any hope of going back to the way things were disappeared for good. The real cost of everything that's happened in the Brown family shows up most clearly in the kids. Garrison's death was a blow that no one could have prepared for, and the way the family handled it revealed just how deep the cracks had become. Garrison was known for speaking his mind, for standing up when he saw something wrong, and for wanting a real relationship with his dad. But as Kody's attention shifted more and more toward Robyn and her children, Garrison and his siblings felt the distance grow. The pain of being sidelined wasn't just about missed birthdays or holidays, it was about feeling like they didn't matter as much as the other set of kids. Mykelti, who once had a close bond with Robyn, started to pull away. She'd been the one to help with Robyn's kids, to bridge the gap between the families, but even she couldn't ignore the favoritism forever. After Garrison's funeral, something changed. Mykelti and her husband Tony made it clear that they were done carrying the weight of keeping the relationship alive. They stopped reaching out, stopped making excuses, and let the silence speak for itself. Aspen, always the peacemaker, found herself caught in the middle, trying to support her siblings while watching the family she grew up in fall apart. The difference in how Kody treats Robyn's kids compared to Christine's is impossible to miss. He's present for Robyn's children, building vanities, showing up for milestones, making sure they feel special. But when it comes to Christine's kids, the effort just isn't there. Truly, and Isabel in particular, have felt the sting of being overlooked. Isabel's surgery, Truly's illness, these were moments when a father's presence should have been a given. Instead, they got excuses and absence. After Garrison's funeral, the family dynamic shifted in a way that felt permanent. The old alliances broke down. The kids who once leaned on each other started to drift. Some, like Mykelti, set boundaries to protect themselves. Others, like Garrison's siblings, were left to process their grief without the support they needed from their father. The funeral, instead of bringing everyone together, became a turning point. A moment when the truth about the family's fractures was impossible to hide. The fallout wasn't just about one event. It was the result of years of favoritism, neglect, and broken promises. The kids who once believed in the idea of a big, loving family were left to pick up the pieces and figure out what family means when the old rules no longer apply. Christine's life after leaving Kody is nothing short of inspiring. For years, she was cast as the peacemaker, the one who kept her head down and tried to make everyone happy. But once she made the decision to walk away, something in her changed. The weight she'd carried for so long seemed to lift. Suddenly, Christine was glowing. Her smile brighter, her energy lighter, her confidence unmistakable. Fans noticed it right away. She started sharing more of herself, laughing with her kids, trying new things, and even opening up about her hopes for the future. It was like watching someone come back to life after years of just surviving. Janelle's journey has been quieter, but just as powerful. She's always been practical, the one who kept things running behind the scenes. But after the split, Janelle started to put herself first. She moved into her own space, focused on her health, and reconnected with her children in a way that felt more genuine than ever. There's a new sense of independence in Janelle, a quiet strength that comes from finally being able to make decisions for herself. She's not looking back, and she's not waiting for anyone's approval. Mary's path has been the most complicated. She's faced betrayal, loneliness, and public scrutiny, but she's still standing. After years of feeling like an outsider in her own family, Mary is finally starting to carve out a life that's hers alone. She's building her own business, traveling, and learning to trust herself again. It hasn't been easy, but there's a resilience in Mary that's impossible to ignore. While Christine, Janelle, and Mary are finding new strength and happiness, Kody and Robyn seem to be moving in the opposite direction. The stress of holding on to a fractured family is written all over them. The spark that once made them the center of attention has faded. The bitterness, the defensiveness, the constant need to explain themselves, it's all taking a toll. The contrast couldn't be clearer. The wives who left are thriving, while the ones who tried to keep control are left with the fallout. It's a transformation that speaks for itself. For years, the Browns built their reputation on the idea of honesty and transparency. But anyone who's watched closely knows the story isn't that simple. The family's public image has always been carefully managed, with details tweaked or left out to fit whatever narrative worked best at the time. One season, they're a united front facing the world together. The next, old wounds are glossed over, and the truth gets blurry. Stories about how the wives met who was really included and what went on behind closed doors have changed more than once. Sometimes it feels like the past is being rewritten in real time. The show presents a version of the Browns that's polished and, at times, sanitized. But the reality is messier, full of contradictions and secrets that never make it to air. The real heartbreak, the favoritism, the betrayals, those moments are often hidden behind carefully edited scenes and talking head interviews. The difference between what viewers see and what actually happens is huge. The cracks in the family, the shifting alliances, the pain that lingers long after the cameras stop rolling, that's the truth that's only now coming to light. And it's a truth that can't be hidden anymore. Christine's journey is a reminder that choosing yourself, even when it's hard, can change everything. Her courage to walk away from a life that no longer served her has inspired so many people to rethink what they deserve in their own relationships. The Browns' story isn't just about polygamy or reality TV drama. It's about the cost of ignoring your own needs and the freedom that comes from finally listening to your heart. I want to know what you think. Did you see this coming? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit subscribe, and join me for more real talk on TLC Sister Wives Daily.